Today we're going to learn about solving equations that involve integers. Now all the equations that we're solving are just simple one-step equations. Remember, integers are positive and negative numbers. In order to solve an equation, we need to use inverse operations. Inverse operations are operations that undo each other. So the inverse of addition is subtraction, and also the inverse of subtraction is addition. The one undoes the other one. The same thing goes with multiplication and division. The inverse of multiplication is dividing or division, and the inverse of division is multiplying. And we use these inverse operations to find the value of the variable, or what we generally call solving the equation. When we solve an equation, we're trying to find out what the value of the variable is in that equation. So pause the video and copy this into your notes. All right, so we're going to do several examples. All right, so whenever we go to solve equations, we need to look at dividing the equation into two separate halves. And we do that by drawing a line down through the equal sign. Okay, the equal sign is what divides an equation into two halves. Okay, so remember, our goal is to figure out what our value of P is. Okay, we want to find out what is the value of P. And to do that, we need to get rid of this 5. We need to undo the plus 5. Well, the inverse of addition is subtraction. So we're going to say minus 5, and we're going to say minus 5. All right, we have whatever we do on the one side of the equation, we also have to do the exact same thing on the other side of the equation. Okay, so now if we simplify, 5 minus 5 is 0, so we end up with P plus 0 is equal to negative 3 minus 5 is negative 8. Okay, and just simply P plus 0 is just simply P is equal to negative 8. All right, this one over here, we notice that we have the number, or we have the integer that comes first, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let's draw our line down through, divide it into two parts. Okay, we're looking at getting the x by itself, so that means we got to get rid of this negative 6. Okay, the negative 6, the opposite of a negative, is a plus 6, positive 6. So if we have a plus 6, yeah, on the left-hand side, we got to do plus 6 on the right-hand side. All right, when we simplify, negative 6 plus 6 is 0. Okay, and I can put the 0 down here, or I can just go ahead and just cancel it out. Bring this x down, okay? And negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. So the value of x is negative 1. Now on both of these, we can check them, okay? If we check, all right, to check the one on the left-hand side, we said that P is negative 8. Well, is negative 8 plus 5. What is negative 8 plus 5? Well, negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. And our original equation was negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. And so that actually checks out. Same thing over here. We said to check it, okay, to check it, we say negative 6 plus negative 1. We want to see, is that equal to negative 7? Well, negative 6 plus negative 1 is indeed negative 7, which is that, so that checks out. Okay? All right, so moving to the next page. All right, several more examples. Okay, all right, minus 9, y minus 9 is equal to negative 40. The opposite or the inverse of subtracting 9 is adding 9. So we go plus 9, plus 9. Those cancel out. Okay, we're left with y is equal to negative 40 plus 9 is negative 31. All right, check it. Negative 31 minus 9, is that equal to negative 40? Well, negative 39, negative 31 minus 9 is negative 40, so that does check out. Okay? Another one over here where we have the number come first. All right, so a negative 3, opposite of negative 3 is positive 3, plus 3, plus 3. Okay, that cancels out. We're left with x is equal to negative 9 plus 3 is negative 6. So check it. Okay, so negative 3 plus negative 6, is that equal to negative 9? Well, negative 3 plus negative 6 is equal to negative 9. Okay, so that checks out. Sometimes we run into an issue where the actual expression is not on the left-hand side like it normally is. Okay, sometimes it's on the right-hand side like it is here. Okay, it doesn't matter. We still do the same thing. We're trying to get the q by itself in this case, so that means we need to undo the plus 2. The inverse operation of addition is subtraction, so we go minus 2 minus 2. All right, 2 minus 2 is 0, or cancel out. We're left with q is equal to negative 6 minus 2 is negative 8. All right, and so we could write that as negative 8 is equal to q, or we could say that q is equal to negative 8. Either way. All right, so let's check it. Is negative 6 equal to negative 8 plus 2? Well, negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. So, yes, that does check out. All right. The problem on the right-hand side, remember whenever you have a number and a variable right beside each other, that is multiplication. Okay? So, draw our line, split it. Okay? And the opposite or the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide by 8. We're going to divide both sides by 8. 8 divided by 8 is just simply 1. You have 1y is equal to negative 400 divided by 8, which is negative 50. All right. Now, 1y, we generally don't write that 1 down, so we generally just say y is equal to negative 50. To check it, all we do is say 8 times negative 50. Is that equal to negative 400? Well, let's see here. 8 times negative 50 is negative 400. Yeah, so that does check out. All right. Anytime you have something that looks like this, a variable over top of an integer or a number, that's division. Okay, so this is dividing. B divided by negative 5 is equal to 6. All right. So the inverse operation of dividing is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by negative 5. All right. When we do that, this is the same thing as negative 5 over 1, like that. Okay. So we end up with, a long way around, we end up looking at negative 5b over negative 5 is equal to negative 30. Negative 5 divided by negative 5, when we simplify, that just simply turns into 1b is equal to negative 30, or simply b is equal to negative 30. All right. this whole, normally we don't go through this entire step here, but I wanted to go through it while we're going through this lesson for the very first time so that you understand how these negative 5s actually cancel out. All right, to check it, we're going to say negative 30 divided by negative 5. Is that equal to a positive 6? Well, negative divided by a negative is a positive. 30 divided by 5 is 6. All right, so that does check out. All right. On this problem on the right, c divided by 4 is equal to negative 24. Well, this is division, so the inverse operation of division is multiplication. So we're just going to say multiply by 4, multiply by 4. Okay, I could go through this whole thing over here of explaining how it cancels out, or I can just say, well, that just cancels out there like that. We're left with c is equal to negative 24 divided by 4. Well, or not, negative 24 times 4. Okay, so when I do that, I end up with negative 96. All right, let me double check. 24 times 4, 16. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1 is 9. And it's a negative, so yeah, negative 96. All right, to check it, so we have negative 96 divided by 4. Is that equal to negative 24? Well, 96 divided by 4 is, in fact, 24, and you have a negative divided by a positive, which is a negative 24. So that is correct. All right. All right. The other thing that is the same thing as the problem that we did with addition and subtraction. Sometimes the variable is on the right-hand side instead of the left-hand side. There again, it doesn't make any difference at all. You just do the same problem, except instead of working from left to right, we're working from right to left. Okay, so this is 4 times x. The inverse operation of multiplication is division, so we're going to divide by 4, divide by 4. All right, 4 divided by 4 is 1, or it cancels out, so that's the x. Negative 200 divided by 4 is negative 50. All right, to check it, all right, so we have is negative 200, is that equal to 4 times negative 50? Well, 4 times negative 50 is negative 200, so that checks out. All right, this last problem that I want to do is it's a little bit different because in the previous problem on this page with a b divided by negative 5, we actually had the negative sign associated with a number. Okay, in this case here, it's just sort of out there on the left-hand side. But that doesn't make any difference. You still are going to associate it with, you're still going to associate it with a number. So we could write this as a divided by negative 9 is equal to 6. All right. When we do that, then you just notice that we're going to multiply, because this is division, we're going to multiply both sides by negative 9. All right. So that means this cancels out. A is equal to 6 times negative 9 is negative 54. All right. And so when we check it, okay, we plug it into the original one. Negative of a negative 54 over 9, okay, is that equal to a positive 6? Well, yeah, I mean, obviously when you see here, this is a double negative. We've learned in the past that a double negative makes it a positive, okay? And so that means we just have 54 divided by 9, which is 6, and 6 is equal to 6. All right, so that's it for this particular lesson. If you have any questions, make sure you ask me, and we'll talk to y'all later on.